Welcome back to the channel, guys. WGR Garage here, and we are working on the bent fabrication chassis once again. We got to finish up that back firewall. I'm hoping to finish up this tunnel and probably work on the remaining part of the tunnel just to get a lot of that sheet metal done and out of the way. So, if you guys are interested, follow along. Okay, quick recap. So, yeah, trans tunnel portion gone. Still need to finish up this or make it do something, make it look cool. These have tabs in it. That side does not have tabs in it. So we're gonna start over there, tab it out, blend this, make sure I got a bolt in the center to tie everything together. I also got to rotate this hose clamp before I go much further, because this hose clamp is going to be very difficult to get to when I have this whole firewall installed. So, but if I flip it downwards, you'll be able to get to it from this side, no problem. So we're gonna do that, and yeah, see how far we can get. Okay, got the trans tunnel pretty much done up to the firewall area. I still have one more tab. I got a sink in the middle, which is probably going to be a pain in the butt to get to. But we'll do our best on that. Yeah, I still have to seam weld all this. Obviously, it won't be spot welded, so I'll seam weld all the edges or all the seams of it and grind them all nice and flat. And then I need to seam weld this as well. So this is kind of cut halfway through and then bent, so I'll seam weld all this stuff, and then I think probably starting to mount some of the wiring underneath here, and then started to do the dash. So the dash, this bar was already here, I didn't put this bar in, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to go to the dash. We'll kind of bridge this whole thing and create some sort of dash and get the I probably need to work on the pedals and the orbital as well, so we'll get those put in soon, and we're really off to the races once the firewall section is done. So pretty happy with how it's coming out. This is the the EcoBox shifter, so that's got to get sunk down into here, so it'll get, you know, inlaid down into there, and we'll see what happens with everything else. Alright, so also installed this bad boy from Bent Fabrication, so he was nice enough to cut me out and ship me one, but it doesn't really match up here in the middle very well. So I think I'm just going to make like some sort of logo here, or maybe I'll put WGR Garage logo here or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just do a nice diamond and just kind of cover up that middle weird piece right there, just so it looks complete and a little better than what it does. So yeah, we just got to put that one on the other side. I'll match these welds here on this side just so it all looks symmetrical and the same. So okay, anyways, off to something else. Okay, so got the EcoBox or black box mount all in there. Everything's connected. These are just sitting in there right now. But yeah, so that is working. This has clearance. This works great. I think I'm gonna start doing some fun stuff, and that is gonna be mounting my ECU and all the wires and start getting a fuse block in here. To me, that's just kind of a fun time, so I think that is what I'm going to do next, just to keep myself motivated and entertained. So everything else is looking pretty good. Let's route some wires. Okay, so new day out in the shop, and we are going to be working on just getting this thing mounted in, and it's going to be super easy because I think I like this position spot, easy access, and I think it looks pretty good with this new aux beam fuse block. So this is part of one of these kits where you just got the buttons, one controller, so real simple, super clean. You just click them on and hold them. I'm not really sure the programming on it, but they all come with like different buttons you can put on there and labels and all that cool stuff. So we are going to be installing this. Never done one of these before. Super easy to install, but I'm hoping that it works out, and we'll start using these more in the future. Okay, so I realized I'm kind of just on a assembly phase, and I still don't have my exhaust on there yet. So I have all the flanges to do it, but it's kind of tricky to first weld up the exhaust or finish welding the exhaust with the floor pans in and everything in, because it's just hard. So I'm going to disassemble all the floor pans, the firewall, the center column or console or whatever you want to call it, in the trans tunnel area. So we're going to pull all the sheet metal out of here, or out of there, and then get my muffler welded in, and then onto reassembly, and then these pedals. I think I want to screw the pedals today, or the battery on the other side. So we will go from there. Okay, exhaust is fully in. Should be for the last time while I have it. So everything's bolted in, all gaskets installed, everything's TIG welded up really nice. Yeah, so now I'm gonna put the floorboard back in, and then start, I think, working on pedals. I think I need to get my gas pedal, brake pedal mounted, figure out that stuff. So let's keep on rolling. Okay, we have gas pedal and brake pedal fully mounted in, so this is actually even hooked up to the cable. If you can see up there, she is mounted in, good to go, and then just built this little tab off of here to bolt it right to the face. So it's installed. It's actually installed up there. I am waiting on one of the ends, the cable ends right here, to wrap this around, and then it will pin in this spot down here, this little slot. So Amazon should be dropping that off today, and then the throttle cable is hooked up. So making some good progress. Brake boosters on there. I think what I'm going to do next is this battery box over here. So need to mount the battery in here somewhere. I want to keep it as far away from the exhaust as possible, so I believe I'm going to try to mount it in this area here. Just got to figure out how I want to do that. I could either weld something to the firewall on this back side, almost like a shelf with some gussets, and that would be adequate support to hold the battery up. I might just do that because that's pretty quick and easy, and I think it'll be plenty strong to hold this thing here. So we'll make some stuff and see if it works. Alright guys, there we go. We got the battery mounted. I just built this little mount holder and screwed it to the firewall, and then I also mounted the dipstick for the transmission just because it was there and pretty easy. So yeah, I think what I want to do next is going to be the transmission lines. So if I can remove this. Okay, so transmission lines, we need to run those things all the way to the back, and then once that's ran, I can actually put the trans tunnel back together pretty much for the last time, until he needs to tear it down for powder coat or paint or whatever he wants to do. But so anyways, let's build some transmission lines, or maybe let's hang the cooler first. It's going to be underneath the fuel tank back there. Maybe I'll hang the cooler first, that way I know what length my lines need to be before I cut them. So let's do that. Alrighty guys, another thing off the list, that is the transmission cooler mounted and turned out pretty good. So happy with that. Now I can make those lines because now I know the lengths that I need. Just fish it through the trans tunnel. I'll weld some tabs up in there so it holds the lines nice and high, and we'll go back and hook up the two fittings, and transmission cooler is plumbed and good. So I think once I get that in, I might start working with the sheet metal and that seat back here and see how all that looks. okay. Started bolting in stuff, bolted in the whole trans tunnel piece right here, which makes everything just super freaking solid, so it just beefs up everything once you tie it all in. So anyways, I put the seat back in. I do have the gas pedal hooked up, so that is working now. Or throttle cable and all that stuff is working now. But I do kind of want to screw with the back seat, at least kind of come up with an idea of how it's going to go in there. So I think I'm going to do that, and maybe hook up this cable, the transmission shift cable, because I think I'm going to have this thing kind of come out into the center and go through the sheet metal here, and then I should be able to put a cup holder here and a cup holder here. So that was the game plan from the get-go, but the cable is pretty stiff, so I think I can get it to work though. Anyways, yeah, that's I think the next thing on the agenda before I start wiring. Okay, so sitting the back seat in there, that's probably not enough room for your feet. So maybe 5 inches between the two seats there. However, and it is all the way as far back as it can go because the tank is in the way. But I think if I cut the tank mount off, cut all the tank stuff off, slide the tank towards the rear, whatever this is, about 4 inches maybe, that would allow more space here, and at the same time it's going to raise the seat up just a hair because it's on the slope. So as it raises up and this opens up probably more towards 10 inches, I would hope, somewhere in that range, I think that might be enough to get your feet down in there. So that's going to be the game plan, I believe. I might just unbolt the tank at first just to make sure it's going to work or not, and then we will go from there. Okay, got the rear seat mounted. I think this is a YJ seat or a CJ seat. I'm not sure which one, but I'm gonna lean towards YJ. Mounted it to the original mount, so it just kind of ties into these two lugs here, and then you can unbolt it if you need to remove the seat. And then there's some braces that go across, or some tabs that grab the back end over there. So works really well, super sturdy. And there's actually enough room for my feet to go in here. You just kind of angle a foot this way and angle a foot that way. And for somebody that's 6 foot with size 11 or 10.5 shoe, I fit in there. The only problem is my head doesn't fit. So hopefully, this is for his kids anyways. So hopefully the kids are not 6 foot tall. So anyways, seat mounted, pretty pumped about that. Works fantastic. I did have to move, as you saw, I did have to move the fuel cell back close to 4 inches, which means that the winch had to move back about 4 inches, which means he no longer has room for the big cooler that he had back there. He'll have to get a smaller cooler. So, onto the front. So, I think I might start screwing with the dash. Kind of want to get the dash going so I can get the orbital valve mounted, steering wheel mounted, and all that stuff. Once the dash is mounted, I can start installing gauges. Once the gauges are in, I can start installing the switches. So it's just kind of downhill from there. And still, I need to do sheet metal work back here to kind of fill in. I don't think I'm going to go all the way back, but I might go just underneath the seat a little bit. Maybe 4 or 5 inches underneath the seat, so that way you got a place for your feet to sit. So, yeah, moving right along. But I think the biggest hurdle here is going to be the dash to get everything else mounted in. So, I don't know. One of the things I just noted, I'll probably start working on next. Okay, I am going to be calling it a wrap on this video. We got the rear seat mounted on tabs. You can unbolt it and bolt it back in. We got the fuel cell mounted permanently, the winch mounted. We got the trans tunnel mounted, everything, all the bolts. I think, yeah, all the bolts are even tight. Tightened everything up. Gas pedal is mounted, gas pedal's hooked up, linkage is hooked up. Boom, boom, boom. So we need to be working on the dash, but I'm going to save that for the next episode. As always, guys, super appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, and we'll catch you on the next episode when we start building this dash. Thanks, guys.